If you or someone you love takes a blood pressure pill every single day, please do not skip the next few minutes, because what I am about to share with you could be one of the most important things you hear this year. And I am not saying that to scare you. I am saying it because most people over 60 who take these medications have never been told this, not by their doctor, not by their pharmacist, and definitely not by anyone on television. So stay with me, because this is real, this matters. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand your body and your medication in a way you probably never have before. Let me start with a simple question. When do you take your blood pressure pill? Morning, right after breakfast? Maybe at night before bed? Or maybe you just take it whenever you remember? If you answered any of those, you are not alone. Millions of Americans over 60 do exactly the same thing. But here is what most people do not realize. The timing of when you take your blood pressure medication can make a massive difference in how well it protects you. And getting the timing wrong, depending on your age and your health, can actually put you in danger. Now, I want to be very clear about something before we go any further. I am not a doctor. This video is for general health awareness and education only. Nothing I say here is medical advice. Please always talk to your own doctor before changing anything about how you take your medication. What I am going to do today is help you understand your body better, so that when you do talk to your doctor, you can ask the right questions. Because an informed patient is a protected patient. All right. Now let me tell you something that most people in their 60s and 70s do not realize about their own bodies. Your blood pressure is not the same number all day long. It changes. It goes up and it goes down depending on what time it is, what you are doing, whether you are sleeping, whether you just woke up, whether you are stressed, whether you just had a meal. Your blood pressure is a living, moving number. And this is so important to understand because your medication, your Amlodipine, your Losartan, your Lisinopril, it was designed to work within that rhythm. But if the timing is off, it might be working at the wrong time. And during the most dangerous moments of the day, it might not be covering you at all. Here is something researchers have known for a while now, but most regular people have never heard. In the early morning hours, right around the time you wake up, your body goes through a surge. Your heart rate rises, your blood pressure jumps, your body is preparing itself to start the day. And for people over 60, especially those who already have high blood pressure, this morning surge is one of the most dangerous windows of the entire day. This is the time when the risk of a heart attack or a stroke is significantly higher. This is not me being dramatic. This is biology. Now think about this for a moment. If you took your blood pressure pill the morning of the day before and it wore off sometime during the night, then right at that critical morning window when your pressure is surging, your medication might be at its weakest point. That window, that gap between when your last dose wore off and when your next morning dose kicks in, that is what many doctors now refer to as a coverage gap. And for people in their 60s and beyond, that coverage gap can be dangerous. But wait. It gets a little more complicated, and this is where it gets really important. Different blood pressure medications work differently. Amlodipine, which is one of the most commonly prescribed blood pressure pills in the United States, is a calcium channel blocker. It is actually known for having a longer effect in the body, which means it stays active longer than many other medications. That is one reason doctors like it. But Losartan and Lisinopril, two other very commonly prescribed pills, are in different drug classes. They work through different pathways. And how long they stay active in your body and when they reach their peak effectiveness can vary quite a bit from person to person, especially as we get older. Here is something fascinating and maybe a little surprising. Your age affects how your body processes medication. When you were in your 30s or 40s, your kidneys and your liver could break down and absorb medication very efficiently. But as we age, those processes slow down, which means the same pill that used to kick in within an hour might take longer to work now. And the same pill that used to last a full 24 hours might not be lasting quite as long as it used to. Your doctor may not have updated your timing instructions to reflect where your body is today, at 60 or 70, or beyond. Most people don't realize this. And I want you to really sit with that for a second. The instructions you were given when you first started your blood pressure medication might have been perfect for you at that time, but bodies change. And what worked perfectly 5 or 10 years ago might need a second look today. Now, there is another very important piece to this conversation, and this one surprises almost everyone I talk to. Have you ever felt dizzy when you stand up quickly? Maybe you get up from the couch, or you roll out of bed in the morning, and for a second or two you feel lightheaded or unsteady. Maybe you had to grab onto the wall or the bedpost. If that sounds familiar, please pay attention to this next part, because it is critically important for your safety. That dizziness when you stand up is called orthostatic hypotension. Fancy medical word, but a simple concept. It means your blood pressure dropped too fast when you changed position. And for people over 60 who are taking blood pressure medications, this is one of the most common and most dangerous side effects that people shrug off and ignore. Because here is what happens. You feel dizzy for a second and you think, oh, that is nothing. That happens to everyone. And then you sit back down and it goes away and you forget about it. But what you do not see is that in those few seconds, your risk of a fall skyrockets. And for people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, a fall can be life-changing. A broken hip, a head injury. These are not minor events. And here is the connection that most people miss completely. The timing of your blood pressure medication plays a direct role in how likely you are to experience that dangerous dizziness. If you take a blood pressure pill right before a period when you are going to be up and moving around, when you are going to be standing, walking, going to the bathroom, navigating the stairs, your pressure might drop lower than it should at exactly the wrong moment. This is especially true if you take your medication at night, right before bed, because some people assume that taking it at night is safer or better. And for some people and some medications, that can actually be true. But for others, taking it right before lying down and then getting up multiple times during the night to use the bathroom can create a really dangerous situation. This is why the timing question is so personal. It is not one size fits all, and it is something every single person over 60 who takes a blood pressure pill should be talking about directly with their doctor. Now let us talk about some of the everyday habits and lifestyle factors that most people completely overlook because they make a massive difference in how your blood pressure behaves throughout the day and how your medication works alongside it. Salt. We all know salt raises blood pressure, but most people do not realize how quickly it happens. You can have a salty meal at lunch and your blood pressure can be measurably higher within just a couple of hours. Now, if your medication is already wearing thin by that time of day, that salty meal is hitting you when your coverage is at its weakest point. The combination of a high-sodium meal and low medication coverage is something people experience every single day without connecting the dots. Water intake is another one that almost nobody thinks about. Dehydration, even mild dehydration, causes your blood vessels to tighten up and your blood pressure to rise. And at the same time, if you become too dehydrated, your blood pressure can drop dangerously low, especially if you are on blood pressure medication. This is a balancing act that gets more delicate as we age because older bodies do not regulate fluid as efficiently as younger ones. And many older adults simply do not feel thirsty the way they used to, so they drink less water without realizing it. Stress is another massive factor that people underestimate. And I do not mean just big stressors like a family emergency or financial worry. I mean everyday low-grade stress, the kind that builds up slowly throughout the day. Running errands, sitting in traffic, watching upsetting news, a tense phone call. Each of those small stressors causes a small spike in blood pressure. And when you add them all together across a day, it can be significant. Now here is the important part. If you have not thought about when your medication is most active during those stressful hours, you may not be as protected as you think. Sleep, or the lack of it, is deeply connected to blood pressure in ways that science has only started to fully appreciate in recent years. When you do not sleep well, your body does not go through the normal overnight dip in blood pressure that healthy people experience. Most people's blood pressure naturally drops by 10 to 20% while they sleep. It is like a nightly reset for your cardiovascular system. But if your sleep is broken, or you have sleep apnea, or you spend a lot of the night tossing and turning, your body may not be getting that nightly reset. And that means your heart and your blood vessels are working harder than they should, even during what is supposed to be rest time. For people over 60, poor sleep is one of the most underappreciated contributors to poorly controlled blood pressure. And again, it directly affects the question of medication timing, because your doctor needs to know your sleep patterns to help you figure out when your medication should be working hardest. Now, I want to talk about something that I think a lot of people feel, but very few people say out loud. And that is the feeling of being uncertain about your medication. Maybe you have been taking the same pill for years, and you have started to wonder whether it is still working the same way. Maybe you have noticed that your at-home blood pressure readings are not as consistent as they used to be. Maybe you have had a few mornings where you just felt off, a little tired, a little foggy, or a little lightheaded, and you were not sure whether it was the medication, or your age, or something else entirely. Maybe you have even skipped a dose here or there because you were not sure if you really needed it that day. If any of that resonates with you, please know that you are not alone. These are real concerns, and they are worth talking about. But here is the thing I really want you to hear. Stopping or skipping your blood pressure medication without guidance is one of the most dangerous things a person over 60 can do. High blood pressure is called the silent killer for a reason. You often cannot feel it. You can feel perfectly fine while your blood pressure is sitting at a dangerously high level. And then, without warning, that pressure causes a stroke, or a heart attack, or a burst blood vessel, and everything changes in an instant. This is not a scare tactic. This is the reality of what uncontrolled blood pressure can do. And the scary part is that many people who experience strokes had no idea their pressure was so high. They thought they felt okay. They thought they were managing it. Your medication is not something to take lightly. It is one of the most powerful tools your doctor has given you to protect your brain and your heart. And taking it consistently, at the right time, in the right way, is one of the most important things you can do for yourself every single day. So what can you do? Let me walk you through some simple, practical, awareness-based things that you should be thinking about and discussing with your doctor. First, the most important thing, talk to your doctor specifically about the timing of your medication, not just what to take, but when. Ask them directly, given my age, my sleep schedule, and my daily routine, what time of day is this medication going to protect me the most? Is there a particular window of the day when I am most at risk and we need to make sure this medication is covering me? That is a powerful and specific question, and a good doctor will appreciate you asking it. Second, keep a simple blood pressure log at home if you can. You do not need anything fancy. A small notebook will do. Take your pressure at the same times each day, maybe once in the morning when you first wake up, and once in the evening before bed. Write it down along with the time. After a week or two, you will start to see your own personal pattern. And when you bring that log to your doctor, it gives them real information about how your body is actually behaving across the day, not just during the few minutes you are sitting in the exam room. Third, be very mindful of the moments when your blood pressure medication might be at its peak effect, because those are the moments when your pressure might be at its lowest, and dizziness is most likely to happen. Do not rush when you stand up. Take a slow breath. Hold on to something if you need to. Give your body a few seconds to adjust. These small habits can prevent a dangerous fall. Fourth, take your medication consistently at the same time every day. Consistency is incredibly important with blood pressure pills. Your body develops a rhythm around your medication schedule. If you take it at different times each day, your body cannot build that protective rhythm, and you are more likely to have gaps in coverage. Fifth, talk honestly with your doctor about everything that might be affecting your blood pressure: your sleep, your stress levels, your diet, your activity level, how much water you are drinking. All of these things are relevant, and the more context your doctor has, the better they can help you find the right timing, the right dose, and the right approach for your body right now, at this stage of your life. Now, let me bring this all together for you, because I want to make sure you are walking away from this video with a clear and confident understanding. If you are over 60 and you take Amlodipine, Losartan, Lisinopril, or any other blood pressure medication, the timing of when you take that pill matters more than most people realize. Your blood pressure changes throughout the day. The morning hours are one of the most dangerous times for cardiovascular events, especially for older adults. Your body processes medication differently than it did when you were younger. The gap between when your medication wears off and when your next dose kicks in can leave you vulnerable. Dizziness when you stand up is a warning sign that should not be ignored. And the right timing for your medication is something your doctor should be helping you figure out based on your individual body, your routine, your sleep, your risk factors, and your age. You deserve to feel protected every single hour of the day. Not just when you happen to feel okay, not just in the afternoons when your medication might be at its peak, but in those early morning hours when your body is waking up and your cardiovascular system is under its most stress. You have worked hard to take care of yourself. You have shown up every day. You have been taking your medication. You have been doing the right things. And now I am asking you to go one step further. Have this conversation with your doctor. Ask the timing question. Keep that simple log at home. Pay attention to how your body feels at different times of the day. And never, ever skip your medication without talking to your doctor first. Because your heart is worth protecting. Your brain is worth protecting. And you are worth protecting. If this video helped you understand your blood pressure medication even a little better, if it gave you a question to ask your doctor, or if it made you think about a loved one who might need to hear this too, please share it with them. And if you found this helpful, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more simple health awareness videos every day. Take care of yourself. You deserve it.